Hello Ottawa, welcome to another episode of Market Track with Abuzar. We are into February now and man, has a lot changed in the past few weeks. We've already surpassed that expected 5 to 10% annual increase. We were expecting it perhaps towards the end of 2022. We've already caught on and even higher in some of the areas. So please remember to watch the whole video because we'll be talking about strategy as far as buying and as well as selling. And as always, please do remember to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. So let's get going. So the prices in Ottawa, my goodness, it's incredible. Like every day it's a different thing happening where we're just playing catch up in terms of prices and pretty much brackets within the range of 400 to 700. They're pretty much leading the way in newer built homes, especially townhouses, end units, mid units. It's so much happening right now, and everybody's playing catch up. And I guess what you need to do is to have someone specifically sit down and analyze for you as a buyer or a seller and tell you exactly how to strategize. Question is whether should I buy now or wait off and you know, on the sidelines. The last thing I want for buyers to do, and I keep re-emphasizing on this and tell my buyers that please do not sit on the sidelines. That's the last thing you want to do because the prices will increase. That's given. I mean, I don't see any sort of an intervention happening on the government's behalf. Considering how they're caught up with the COVID situation now, the last thing on their list is pretty much the housing crisis that we're having. So please don't sit on the sidelines, buyers. Get into the market, stay active, stay positive. And yes, the prices are going up, but we are hitting a point where things are getting somewhat intense, much beyond what we were expecting for 2022. And what you want is to keep trying and keep going at it. And the last thing you want, yes, the prices may fluctuate. They might drop slightly given the month of the year. That happened last year as well. But we don't want you to get to a point where you can't afford that drop either. So if your maximum is 650,000, you better keep going at it now, because if the prices climb up to 750, 100K more than what you can afford, and they do drop to 730, 725, and you can't still afford it, there's no point of sitting on the sideline and not trying. So even that fluctuation and drop might not benefit you if that's a strategy, which I don't think it is really. So I think the best thing for buyers is to keep trying, keep putting offers, be positive, but be realistic. And that's the same thing I'm telling my sellers there. Both parties, both buyers and sellers, they both need to be realistic in terms of what their expectations are. And in terms of the sellers, I mean, yes, the prices are going up, but you just can't cash out for your retirement. You gotta be reasonable, you gotta be logical, and listen to your agent, please, in terms of what's been going on and what's selling and how much they're selling for. And for sellers, you have to be very cautious in terms of the list price, because if you do set it at a higher amount than the market is willing to act on, then your property may sit on the market, and we're still seeing properties sit on the market when they are not priced right. And that's what happens. People wonder in this market, how come your property is not selling? So as far as whether I should sell, it depends on your situation. It is a good time right now. It's very active market. You will see the highest potential you'll see. Yes, there may be an increase in price, but there might be other fluctuations as well, which is unpredicted. So if you are in a position to sell, I would highly recommend, because you can get pretty good numbers from your property, whether it's an investment property or your current home. So that's that. Let's get going with the numbers. I'll give you a brief on the Ottawa as a general, and we'll get specific on the numbers to see the residential, condominium, and the rental market. And lots has changed. So please stay tuned towards the very end of this video. So taking a look at the January numbers, Ottawa and surrounding residential, we're looking at 2022, 661 units. Number of sales, 661 for 2022 and 673 for 2021. So that's a drop of 1.8%. Sales volume, we are increased at 11.9, almost 12%. Average price 2022 771,000 and versus 2021 677. That's an increase of 14%. And keep an eye on this number right here, because this is the Ottawa surroundings. So we're including places like Osgood, Metcalfe, Embrun, and places like that. But the other numbers we'll take a look at, it's more core related. So you'll see the average much higher than where we have surpassed last year. So we've hit an all-time high as far as the average price for residential. Same thing with condominiums. All right, number of days properties are staying lesser on the market. 2022 20 days, 2021 the average number of days 25, so that's a drop of 20%. Looking at the condominiums, number of sales 275 for 2022 versus 290 for 2021, and that's a drop of 5.2%. Sales volume again up 11.7%, and average price Ottawa and surrounding 2022 447,000 approximately versus 2021 380,000. So that's an increase of 17.8%, almost 18%. Number of days on the market, you got not so much change for condominiums. 2022 26 days and 2021 28 days. So that's a drop of almost 6%. Now let's get more specific. Let's get into the residential Ottawa. Looking at the January versus January 2021 year over year, January 2022 we had active listings. Look at the difference. Now we are seeing so much change now as far as the inventory goes. We are lacking. I'm keeping a focus on the new builds too. I'm in touch with a lot of builders to see what their activities, local builders as well as larger builders as a whole, and they've cut back so much in terms of production. So much. It's just incredible. And the reason is supply costs, obviously. City permits, it's taking longer, and this will put a huge pressure on the resales, and that's why we're seeing such a jump in numbers with the resale amounts, because of the lack of new built homes as well. And this is nothing that will go away until the builders are more calm or more confident, we should say, about continuing with their projects. Looking at the supply, active listings for 2022 January 274 versus 465 sold units, versus last year we had 323 active and 487. So really we're seeing a very similar pattern, but the prices are more increased considering the average price has already gone up. So we've set a new high, as we'll see later. All right, so taking a look at the sold price versus list price ratio, and look at this jump month over month between December and January, 110% above the average, and we've hit pretty much what we had before, and it's bound to increase as we go. And I think right around April, May, we'll have a new average price, and the list prices will be very close to that, so you won't see as much fluctuation as we'll see now and we have seen before. So 110% versus 110.3% year over year for the residential. Looking at the average, now this is where it's basically a game changer for the residential. Look at that. January 2022 we had 847,000 average price. We've surpassed last March for the highest average price, or the highest it was the highest average at 821. So we're facing a new reality. 847,000 is the average price versus last year, which was 745,000. Looking at the days on the market, again, very similar to last year, but a big difference between month over month. January 2022, 15 days versus last year, January 2021, it would take 18 days for a home on average to sell. Looking at the condominium market, Now, again, the pressure, lesser homes available, new build, more pressure on the residential, people look towards other alternatives, condominiums. And now we are seeing a demand for condo market. Look at that. No, active listings dropped, right? It's much different than we've seen before. So 217 units active versus 272, and last year it was the other way around. So now the condo market is changing. It's not actually following the pattern of last year, and it's taking a toll. And pretty much looking at last year, 306 active listings, so more listings last year, 276 sold units. And look at the difference between September and January of this year in terms of supply. And this will show us that the average price is going up. Now look at that. Looking at the condominium, closed price or sold price versus list price, original price 101.5% versus almost asking year over year, January. Now, again, average price has gone up, and this is considering all that. Now take a look at the average price. Look at that. January 2022, 451,000, almost 452,000 versus 388,000 last year. So again, for the condominium market as well, this is a new average. So it's a new record set, and I think it's bound to continue this way. All right. So taking a look at the condominium, a number of days a unit stays on the market, not much change, 25 days for January 2022 versus 27 days the previous year for the condominiums. And now the rentals. You know, we talked about before how we had more supply, we still have more supply, but again, people who can't afford residential, condominium, new builds and so on, the pressure is on. If you stay on the sideline, it's likely that you're gonna head towards renting. And we'll see this, we'll see the average rental amount per month will increase, the average rent, and the supply will diminish as well. And it's given with what we're faced right now. So look at the difference between January and November. 804 units in November available, now it's 636. And it's basically changing so much. Right now, actives 636, rented units 398, versus last year we had 600 active units and 331. So supply and demand pretty much the same, yet I feel like it will have an impact on the average rental price as well, the pressures that we're facing right now. Looking at the days on the market, pretty much the same thing. Again, it's a seasonal thing with rentals. For landlords, you know, winter, it's a slow month. You have to realize that. You have to be more patient because people tend to move when it gets to April, May. The best thing for a landlord to do is to ensure and do their best to put their cycle right around spring. If you keep that cycle, it's fantastic because then you won't have this slow season. And you know what? Everything impacts the tenants in terms of moving, because if it's a harsher winter, it just has an impact as a whole. But you know, number of days, 34 days compared to 35 days year over year, but much higher than the months before because again, it's a seasonal thing. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, text, email, phone call. You know, you guys know me. I love to talk about, discuss the market, analyze, strategize. You know, there's a home for everyone to purchase. It's just a matter of assessing your situation and being realistic in terms of what your affordabilities are. The last thing you want is to make an offer on a property that you cannot afford, and getting to closing, it'll be stressful, you don't want to face. And for sellers, please be realistic. I mean, it's a very good time to sell. I highly recommend it, but again, be realistic in terms of the list price. List price is key, because the last thing you want is for your property in this sort of a market to stay and while others are just selling. And as always, please do remember to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, take care.